So we're live. Um, Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining today's Jubilee community call. It's the 24th time we are doing that, bringing all our community together to discuss the most um, kind of actual things in Polkadot ecosystem, what's going on in our projects, and so on and so forth. And what's probably the most important, to give you highlights on our achievements so far, on what we have done in terms of project development, where we stand in terms of um, overall ecosystem development, business development, so on and so forth. So today's as the this community call, it's already past like 2 years since we started doing that. So we actually decided to bring on this call quite a bunch of guests, and that's not only about the kind of the date, the 2 years that passed since we started doing that, but also we are getting prepared for the full-scale production launch on our Polkadot parachain, which is like really important for us um, to discuss all the topics related to this launch. As usual, I'm joined today by my teammates. Let me, by way of introduction, say a few words about myself firstly, and then I take it over to my colleagues. So my name is Alex, as you know, and I'm the CEO and the founder with Equilibrium. I'm responsible for the overall company strategy, and I'm working also on the operational side of things quite extensively. And without further ado, let me give it over to my colleague Peter.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Alex. Yes, I'm happy to be here as well. Definitely an exciting call. Marks 2 years of our hard work within the ecosystem. So lots of new stuff and exciting news we're going to be sharing today. And as usual, I'm Peter. I'm the tech team manager with the Equilibrium team.
Amazing. Again, it's a tradition. We have prepared some slides for you guys. So let me share my screen firstly and walk you through the small presentation that we have prepared. And then by way of our conversation, we'll be also inviting our guests on the screen and let them introduce themselves and, conduct a few interesting conversations regarding the state of things in the Polkadot ecosystem, liquidity, integrations, into parachain interactions, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so just a sec. Again, today we'll have pretty much lots of guests from various projects and also ecosystem funds, respectively. We'll be welcoming here guys from Moonbeam, from also from these TMS Holdings funds and the fund of the Diagnostic Fund. We're working with these guys together on the liquidity side, and also there will be representatives from Multichain joining us today as well. So yeah, can you guys see my screen right now? Okay, I think
Yes.
everything is good. Okay, so just briefly walk you through the agenda for today's call. First of all, we want to give you an overview of our 2 years of community calls, like how it was, like what was the progress, and so on and so forth. We'll reveal some important details related to our EQ offering. The phase 2 of this event will happen starting next week. We are also disclosing some important details in our production launch, and here we'll actually invite some of our colleagues here on the screen to discuss some important stuff regarding like liquidity side of things, first of all, and then we'll also touch on integrations. Another topic for today is our partnership with Multichain. For us, it's very important because they will be helping us to bridge assets from other ecosystems, and so they will be like really decentralized and kind of safe setup, because Multichain is considered to be one of the most reputable and trusted bridging solutions on the market. We are super excited about this partnership. We'll highlight Genshiro's win of the parachain slots on Kusama. We also just cover a few kind of events that we have attended in London and Lisbon recently, some AMA sessions that we have conducted, also some media coverage, and as usual, we'll give you some development updates. So without further ado, let me walk you through the today's kind of things with regards to our community calls. Like again, today is actually the 24th community call. We started at literally 2 years. Peter, can you imagine that 2 years passed since then? It's a lot of
Well, it definitely went by pretty fast because we were busy all of the time.
exactly,
But
yeah. We've been building all this time. Pretty much
as you
that.
can see on the chart, just like the price, we had our ups and downs, just like the stock price.
Yeah, this is pretty hilarious. I mean, the attendance of our community calls pretty much correlates with dot price on the markets, as you can see here. And actually, at some points when the price peaked, we had the peak performance of our community calls. We actually seen participation of over like 600 people here. Yeah, so that's really interesting. So I see a lot of, I actually can hear quite a lot of background noise here. Can somebody get muted?
Yeah, I think it's Natalie. Natalie, can you mute yourself, please?
Is it muted?
No, it's not muted. So we can hear quite a bunch of background noise from your side, but you can introduce yourself, by the way, because like seems like you didn't have a chance to do so.
Yeah, apologies. I was having some connection issue just now. Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Natalie. I'm from Equilibrium's business development team. My main focus is on partnerships like XCM integration with parachains, joint campaigns, and collaboration with projects such as our closed beta that we just launched earlier. Very happy to be here today.
Amazing. Great to have you with us. Cool. As I mentioned, again, we will have special guests from Moonbeam, Agnostic Funds, Multichain, and CMS Holdings with us. We'll be inviting them on the screen one by one and have some meaningful conversations related to our production launch, integrations, and so on and so forth. So yeah, without further ado, I wanted to introduce a few important details regarding our EQ offering, which is starting on November the 28th. So the goal for us is to raise 300,000 dots, and we literally will be accepting dots in this event. So actually we have a whitelist for this event up and running. And you guys can join the whitelist right now. If you go to our website, equilibrium.io, you will find the information there. There will be like a banner on the top side of the screen, and you actually can follow the link and join the whitelist. If you join the whitelist and participate early in this event, you can get the maximum bonus of 20%. There will be also a referral program over there. You can also register. The link is here. You can scan the QR codes in the presentation on the right-hand side. The referral program introduces the maximum 10% bonus. 5% goes to referral and 5% to referee. So the total allocation that we'll be distributing through this event is 200 million EQ tokens. So you need to just simply to get on the whitelist if you want to guarantee your spot in this event. Pass KYC, submit dots, and get EQ at the end. Pretty simple. So again, it's starting on the 28th of November. The whitelist is up and running. You can scan the QR codes on the left or go to our website. You will find the link there in the top of the screen. And the whitelist will be open until the end of the week. So be fast if you're still considering this event, your participation in this event, then you need to move quick, I guess. So with regards to our further plans on the production launch, I wanted to give it over to Natalie. She will highlight kind of our further steps and strategy. Natalie, are you here with us?
I think Natalie has connection problems.
Okay, apparently she dropped off. Anyways, so let me cover this as well. So the full-scale production launch is a very important event for us because we've been preparing for that quite extensively. Just recently, we have conducted the closed beta launch, which was the great success. We have got over 10,000 applications from users who wanted to join the closed beta and actually get hands on our kind of product line that we rolled out in terms of this closed beta activity. And eventually, we accepted roughly 4,800 users who were extensively testing our production environment. And we saw quite a lot of activity, over $80 million, pardon, of the overall trading volume. And we guess that was like really successful. So over 23, like I guess 23 teams participated in the closed beta. The top team got quite significant rewards for participation, was 10,000 EQ tokens. And we're actually going to replicate this success in the production launch, which again will happen in the first half of December this year. So the assets that we're expecting to actually to deploy and to support during our closed beta launch, it will be our EQ tokens, EQD stablecoins, also multiple dot wrappers, including our XDOT. Then we'll be also supporting native USDT from the state mine. Also, there will be like WBTC Bitcoin wrapper from bridged from Ethereum, also Ethereum itself, and USDC. So as the next steps we have what we have on the table. First of all, it will be like the multi-chain bridge support via Moonbeam, and it will actually allow us to support the EC20 implementations of Bitcoin, respectively WBTC, also Ethereum and USDC. We also will be launching the Bootstrap event for our curve pool for our native EQD stablecoin back to dollar, and there will be pool with the USDT stablecoin. There will be also a few other Bootstrap events, respectively for lending pools and insurance pool. So what's special about these two pools, like what exactly makes them different? Like, first of all, is the different risk level of participation. Like if you're participating in a lending pool, you're almost not taking any kind of risks in the system, while when you're participating in the insurance pool, you are becoming the insurer for the system, but you're getting compensated for that because you're kind of earning almost 80% of interest paid by our borrowers, and but at the same time, you're taking risk of liquidation. So if somebody gets liquidated, you need to cover this debt in order to withdraw funds from the insurance pool. So this is kind of the way how we're working the process of liquidation. We are thinking that compared to other DeFi systems. And this actually allows us for quite significant flexibility in terms of, first of all, closing requirements. And we think that this setup makes the system like really stable. So again, you can choose between staking and lending pool, insurance pool within our system. We'll be bootstrapping liquidity into these pools as well. For the insurance pool, besides just major assets, we'll be accepting some assets that you can consider as sort of dead weight in your wallets. Meaning that these assets could not be kind of staked anywhere else. What exactly I mean by that? So it could be, first of all, some liquidity pool tokens from various DeFi protocols, including protocols in the Dotsama ecosystem. I'm sure that most of the investors who actually staked their funds, let's say in Stellar Swap or in Altgem or some other protocols across the ecosystem, they literally don't know what to do with this liquidity, but we will be accepting this liquidity in the insurance pool. And you actually can earn additional yield on your funds, and it will be in addition to regular kind of interest that you're earning just from the pool, the initial pools where you staked your liquidity. This is like really interesting, I guess. It will be really relevant to users who are intensively using the ecosystem products on the DeFi side, obviously. So another step for us, quite important one, is the bootstrap of market making pool for our DEX to give market makers on our DEX opportunity to trade and leverage like extra liquidity from the market making pool. So we'll be raising EQD and DOTS and also XDOTS for market makers at some point, and also there will be like EQD bootstrap events in the Moonbeam and Asta ecosystems as well. So other steps for us will be bootstrap events to attract ecosystem assets, because like eventually we're expecting to become like really important DeFi hub in the Dotsama ecosystem, where you can do quite a bunch of things with native ecosystem assets, respectively use it as collateral to take out loans in various assets, raise liquidity in stable coins, let's say, or cover some inventory gaps in your portfolio if you need to do so by borrowing some other assets besides stable coins from our money markets. Another important kind of feature is the opportunity to use all this scope of assets as margin for trading on the DEX. So again, for us, we see that as a mission sort of in the ecosystem for us to provide this user experience and to make the overall ecosystem more efficient and more liquid. So yeah, and actually, like given that we touched on the topic of liquidity, I actually wanted to invite on the screen some of our guests. There will be representatives from the funds whom we're working with in terms of in terms of our liquidity. There will be respectively Eric Qiu from CMS. Just a sec, let me introduce Eric. I'm inviting Eric on the screen, and there will be Maximilian Rieck from the Agnostic Fund. Just a sec. Okay, so guys, seems like they're accepting our invitation. Hi, folks, how are you?
Hey.
Hey, Max. Hey, Eric. How are you guys?
Hey, guys.
How's it going?
So you can think of that as a small kind of panel regarding like liquidity and Polkadot and the overall situation on the markets. Let me give it over to you and firstly introduce yourself, and then we touch on kind of your vision on the current situation, and also ask some other questions. Why don't we start with Eric then?
Hey, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, how's it going? So I'm Eric. I'm a trader at CMS, and it's a venture and a trading firm, like a hybrid hedge fund mix, and we are ardent supporters of Equilibrium from day one, and very excited for the official launch.
Amazing, thanks. Max?
Yeah, hi, my name is Max. I'm from Agnostic Fund. We are research-driven fund who are heavily invested in most of the batch 1 and also some of the batch 2 and 3 parachain slots, including Equilibrium. So thanks for the invite today.
Amazing. Thank you very much for joining us today, and thanks for your kind support. It's really important for us, specifically in terms of our further production launch. So how are you guys weathering the current markets, and what's your kind of vision of the current situation in the Dotsama ecosystem?
You want to start?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So the current, I would say, everyone is still. I mean, contagion is like the big word still in the market. I guess everyone is still looking at the aftershocks of both FTX and then DCG Genesis. So people are a little skittish and worrisome. The dot ecosystem is a little more insulated from that, from the FTX and the Genesis debacle. That was mainly like Solana and more ETH.
Right.
So from like macro crypto standpoint, I would say the dot ecosystem is in a very good place, especially relative to the other ones where people are more skittish and fritish, as you can imagine.
Yeah, I think also that obviously, of course, there's always everywhere a little bit of FUD, but I think what happened now, or what happened in the recent weeks, showed what Polkadot can be capable of, how Polkadot can secure us from more of these events happening in the future.
Right. So do you guys think that the fact that Polkadot was not affected by all these FTX things and previous kind of dramatic events on the markets was because that Polkadot hasn't got traction yet and hasn't got exposed to the kind of overall crypto markets?
Yeah, that's probably one of that's an ancillary reason. I mean, yeah, I would say so. Less like Polkadot, for instance, just got the native USDT integration, right? From Bitfinex, whereas a lot of the other ecosystems, Solana, ETH, even like in, I believe like Algorand and stuff, have had the native stablecoin integrations. And stablecoins, as you guys well know, with the EQD stablecoin, is like one of the best product market fits of crypto right now. So that like drags a lot of people in. So
Right.
I would say that just in terms of time frames, for sure.
Yeah, and I think, of course, we had some major negative events on Polkadot too in this year. When I think of the Nomad Bridge or the Akala exploits, so there were some negative things going on too in the Polkadot ecosystem. But I think because of the system, how parachains are implemented with each other through XCM, there's a good way to cut ties when something happens, and go back on if everything is clear and everything is like proper done again. So that shows how it could work pretty good and pretty fast if we act pretty good and pretty fast.
Exactly. Yes, and just for the context for everyone, Eric mentioned the EQD stablecoin, and actually, like again, EQD stablecoin is our native stablecoin for the Equilibrium's ecosystem. It's backed to dollar and backed by the portfolio of various crypto assets. And what's special is that like all it can be generated the same way how let's say MakerDAO like stablecoins work. So it's effectively the crypto collateralized stablecoin. And the special thing about that all the positions in EQD are secured in advance through our insurance pool, which makes our stablecoin like EQD extremely resilient in case of any kind of market turmoils. This is really important. And I guess it's very important for the Dotsama ecosystem specifically to have the native stablecoin as well. So like we're expecting that probably at some point there will be like the EQD stablecoin will be picked up, and also will be using outside the boundaries of the Equilibrium parachain as well. We are working on that as well, and like in discussions with multiple projects on various other like EVM compatible parachains and other DeFi kind of protocols based on Substrate natively in terms of like integration of EQD there. Okay, guys, probably since you're expecting to join our kind of production launch events, you can give us as a DeFi protocol on Polkadot some tips, like what we need to do, what we need to avoid, like what should be our path to succeed at the end of the day.
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you guys for some tips. So like since you'll be joining our production launch at some point, like supporting us, like what would be your kind of suggestions, advice in terms of our successful launch, what we need to do, what we need to avoid from your perspective, and how you envision our path to like successful launch of the protocol.
Yeah, I think launching in this environment especially is very different from launching in the past like year, or where everything was like bull market and the attention span for everyone was very scattered, as like one protocol would launch and then like 5 more would launch, right? And so I think in this market there are pros and cons. The pros is that like your initial community is a lot more important, but they are more sticky. Right. And it's very important to maintain that, I think, throughout. And a lot of the projects that launched in the previous, you call it like a bear cycle, especially like the DeFi ones, they had very ardent early supporters. And I think there's a unique chance to establish that right now that would not have been the case maybe a year ago or even a few months ago. So I think just establishing the power users and getting an ardent support base behind you is important.
I totally agree, by the way, and we have quite vibrant and active community backing the project. We have like more than I guess 6,000 people who are actively participating in daily conversations, and also we have a huge base of subscribers to our newsletter, over I guess 45,000. We've been collecting all this kind of user base for quite a long period of time, and they're quite keen on what's going on in Equilibrium. And again, the recent closed beta events actually showed us quite significant interest in our developments, and we hope that obviously this kind of, as you said, like users who stick to the protocol as a community will follow us on this journey. Max, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's correct, and I think in addition to that, it is really important to be, especially at the moment, it is really important for me, for ourselves, for the fund, and obviously for everyone in crypto right now, is to feel and to be safe and transparent about everything that goes on at the moment, because there's so many people are questioning stuff, and when there's no transparency about what is going on, what is the team doing, and if there are any kind of mistakes or any kind of like smaller bugs that last year, when everything went smooth and everything was good, no one really cared about it. Right now, it's like a big thing. Everything is like a big thing. So I would say at the moment, to launch it at the moment, it's really important to be like completely battle tested. Like everything has to run smooth, to avoid just random FUD that normally doesn't mean anything, but at the moment it means like a lot.
Right. So guys, just to also to kind of continue this topic of kind of advice and tips, like what do you think, like what's the most, as obviously from the perspective of funds who are putting like deploying capital into DeFi. Like what's the most kind of important and the most attractive use cases would be for DeFi in the current market environment from your perspective?
I mean, when we talk about ourselves at the moment, obviously we have invested heavily into crowd loans. We have done this mostly, not all, batch one through Binance 2, but mostly in batch 1, batch 2, and 3 through Parallel, for example. So we got a lot of CDOT, for example, from Parallel that is currently just sitting down in some wallets. We can't do anything really good with it. So for us, it's kind of important to do something and to work with that. So we're really excited and hopefully see what's going on and work with our token to obviously to earn money on them, right?
Yeah, of course. And do you think it will be relevant for you guys also to leverage these C dots, whatever dot wrappers for, let's say, stable coins or something for
Sure,
additional
definitely
liquidity?
to leverage them to mint EQD, for example, is one of our ideas.
Right. And also just for the broader audience to give a heads up, again, our goal is to offer quite impressive lineup of use cases for ecosystem assets, first of all, for dot wrappers, and to provide like all the users of the Equilibrium platform opportunity, first of all, to mint stable coins against their liquidity in wrappers. Also to stake these wrappers into our liquidity pools and to earn additional yields on top of what you're already earning in other protocols, and leverage this liquidity for trading. So I mean, this could be like really a solution to all these things that Max brought up in terms of like hesitations they're currently experiencing with SysDots specifically. Max, do you want to add something, or we make transition to Eric? Yeah, Eric, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with most the stuff that Max said. In DeFi, especially, a lot of it, at least the initial vision, was like composable building blocks, like little labelable blocks, right? So like you can use assets in various ways, and Equilibrium for sure allows people to do that, both in terms of the borrow lend and then earn yield on that and then trade on that. It's like a one-stop shop for a lot of the protocols, which is really cool and matches the ethos of the initial wave of DeFi.
Amazing, guys. Well, I think that's pretty much it. So what I wanted to discuss with you. Again, thanks very much for joining today's call. It was really nice to have you here. And again, thank you very much for your kind support. We are super excited to have you guys with us, specifically when we are eventually going live on the Polkadot parachain.
Yeah, thanks for the invite, and looking forward to what's coming.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Awesome.
For sure, yeah. Thanks again. Yeah, looking forward. And yeah, a lot of the stuff that you guys built is pretty innovative and takes a lot of the DeFi ecosystem and like is all on one platform. Like it runs the entire stack from borrow lend to DEX with leverage and order books to a synthetic stablecoin. So I'm really excited to see how it progresses from here and looking forward to the launch.
Fantastic. Yeah, we're super excited about this launch as well. And we're looking forward to working with you guys in the future. Thanks very much. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right.
Yeah. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.
Okay, that was a very nice conversation. And again, that was guys from the Agnostic Funds and TMS Holdings who will be supporting our launch. And hopefully, like all together, we bring all this right narrative in the ecosystem, bring more liquidity, not necessarily just in major kind of crypto assets, but also in the ecosystem assets as well, because like it's really important for us to serve the needs of the ecosystem users and bring more users from other parachains and actually deliver certain value to other parachain projects as well. And yeah, so let's this is actually the nice transition to our next conversation. I wanted to invite here on the screen the guys from Moonbeam, because there will be one of the first parachain projects who will be connecting through Axiom, and we're expecting to roll out quite a lot of use cases for the assets on the Moonbeam parachain for projects based on Moonbeam as well. Okay, so I'm inviting Francisco and I guess Nate. Hi Francisco, how are you, man?
Hello.
Hey,
well,
can you see me and hear me?
Yeah, we can see, we can hear. Welcome to the show.
Just when you said it.
Yeah, it seems like he's experiencing some connection issues. Okay, let me probably re-invite him. Okay. He's joining. Again, guys, we are completely live, like it's everything going in the real time, and obviously Crowdcast is always introducing some, new kind of issues with connections and all stuff, but we kind of experienced users and we can overcome that. Hi, Francisco. Hi, man.
Hey, yeah, sorry, I disconnected for a second. Yeah, all good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Super excited to have you here with us. And is Nate also supposed to join the call, by the way?
I think he is, but I think he was having connection issues as well, so I'm not sure he'll be able to join. But I don't know. Let's see.
Okay, because I cannot invite him on the screen for some reason. So, anyways, we can start our conversation. Anyways, but firstly, we are super excited to have you guys in the cohort of first projects we'll be connecting with on through Axiom and like establishing eventually our connection on Polkadot. It's been a long journey until now. We've been building, deploying, finding the right kind of time span to roll this out and to launch things into production, and eventually we're here. So yeah, why don't you introduce yourself first?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Francisco. I've been working on Moonbeam for the last couple of years, just helping out with ecosystem development and growth in general. So yeah, that's basically where I've spent my time the last few years. And for those of you who don't know, Moonbeam, we're building a parachain on Polkadot that specializes in cross-chain use cases. So yeah, I'm happy to dive further into that like later on if it calls for it.
And my guess that Moonbeam is currently the most liquid parachain, which has the most of liquidity there, right? Is that correct?
I haven't checked like the numbers lately, but yeah, I mean there's a thriving DeFi ecosystem on Moonbeam. So yeah, I think we have gotten significant traction in the last year since we launched. I think a lot of that comes from just being fully EVM compatible. It lowers the friction a lot for users and for developers. But we think that the real differentiator comes from being a part of Polkadot, right? That inherently allows parachains to have these like native cross-chain capabilities that aren't available to many other layer ones. So yeah, I think that's what really gets us excited about the Polkadot ecosystem.
Right. And I guess like besides having all these amazing projects that you guys already have, let's name it, by the way, like Stellar Swap, Moonwell, I don't know, who also worth mentioning like on the DeFi side? You name it.
Yeah, I mean, there's many, Stella, Moonwell, BeamSwap. And I would say that I'm like Beefy is also on there. There's many teams. I would say that there's also like this like there's a new wave of applications that are going to be launching on Moonbeam, I would say in the next months, towards like Q1 next year, that are really leveraging what we're calling connected contracts. And I think Equilibrium is going to be doing a lot of those use cases as well, right? And this is like, yeah, this is what really gets us excited, because it just changes kind of the paradigm of how dApp development has been interpreted as, and how they've been built since DeFi started. So I think that's going to lead to a lot of improvements in UX. It's going to be more capital efficient for DeFi as well. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
Absolutely, yeah. Peter, I guess we are super extensively leveraging all this kind of stuff. What's kind of our experience on the dev side?
Yeah, definitely, and we're gonna cover that shortly. Pretty much, we have built this completely trustless solution using one of the well-known bridges, and Moonbeam as a backbone for us. Well, unfortunately, Polkadot currently lacks the native bridge solution, but this is the closest we can get to the native solution, and we're proud to roll out it first in collaboration with you guys. Yeah, so really excited.
Right. And again, so besides just interactions with, like besides all these projects already built natively on Moonbeam in their EVM environment, there will always also kind of significant place for interactions within the ecosystem with the ecosystem parachain projects. And I recently have seen statistics that was published, I guess, by Ekala, where you guys are on the, I guess, first place in terms of like overall number of transfers through Axiom across all the parachain projects. Is it right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think in terms of XCM transfers, Moonbeam is up there for sure. I mean, there's other parachains as well that are up there, and yeah, I think it's indicative of like the demand for cross-chain scenarios, right? So that should, and I think asset transfers are really just like the first most immediate use case. We're more excited by the more complex use cases that I think we're going to see in the upcoming 12 to 18 months, I'd say. But yeah, in terms of XCM transfer, that's also obviously important in light of a lot of things that have happened with more traditional bridges. So I think XCM really adds a component of security for asset transfers.
Francisco, how do you envision the current situation in the Dotsama ecosystem, specifically in connection with the overall like global markets environment? Have you seen any kind of decline in transfers and activity on chain and in the Axiom activity as well?
I mean, I would say that like the current price declines in the market don't really reflect the level of activity and developer traction that we're seeing on Moonbeam, at least. I think this is just like macroeconomic, and it's cycles at the end of the day, right? So I'm not really worried about those things, because it's always cycles. I would say that if anything, recent events have shown the importance of decentralization, right? And why it matters. And I think Polkadot doesn't take any shortcuts in that regard. And I think this decentralization is probably the most important thing for the Polkadot ecosystem. So I think that's going to be significant in the role that's going to play for ecosystem development in the years to come. I'd say maybe Polkadot isn't as flashy, or like might not make as much noise as other ecosystems, but the technology is very powerful. And right. I think these types of occurrences will just catalyze and accelerate and make the importance of Polkadot be seen at a broader level. So yeah, I think all those things play in Polkadot's favor.
For sure. Yeah, that makes sense. So given that we are going live relatively soon, maybe you can give us some tips, advice. We already asked folks before you, like what they could suggest us in terms of our successful path to, successful future and sustainable kind of running of the DeFi protocol. What's your suggestions will be on that side, if I may know?
Yeah, sure. I mean, in general, I think for us, like the Polkadot launch, it went a lot smoother because of Kusama. So like if you guys are already like shipping things on Genshiro or Kusama first, that's like immensely valuable, because that was way more stressful than when we launched on Polkadot, because we were already like, we knew the routine, right? And we were prepared for what was to come. So I think that practice played a huge role. I would say collaborations are super important as well, like collaborating with other teams that might, that this is the value of Polkadot, right? This idea of comparative advantage, where you can focus on doing the things that you're good at, but then you can leverage what other projects are good at. So I would say that that's really valuable, and that's facilitated by Polkadot's architecture. Asking for help as well. I mean, there's just so many things that like we don't know, right? That we don't know. So advisors have played a huge role in helping us make decisions and asking people that have knowledge maybe in different areas. I think that's been really important. And then just trying to build a great product, right? That developers or users wanna use. I think that kind of speaks for itself, and naturally attracts traction. So yeah, I mean, there's probably other things, but I won't go on a rant.
Yeah. Thanks. That definitely makes sense. And we at Equilibrium are super focused on delivering pretty sleek user experience, and we are quite deeply reworked the overall kind of user interface compared to our Kusama developments. And some of you guys could notice during our closed beta launch, I guess, very kind of quite a lot of the folks actually underlined the usability and the friendliness of user interfaces that we have rolled out in terms of our developments. So yeah, and we kind of looking forward to working with you guys. We have pretty decent conversations with almost all the projects on Moonbeam who are anyhow related to DeFi, and expectedly we will establish quite close connections, relations with all the folks. We have quite a lot of ideas of how we can, influence their success and how they can bring some, liquidity and stuff on our side. So we kind of think that this collaborative spirit will definitely help us to build up the bright future of everything, like of the Dotsama ecosystem, of Equilibrium, Moonbeam, whatever, crypto.
Yeah, I would like to add to that. Yeah, definitely. Francisco touched on this cross-chain smart contracts, and we are among the first ones to actually utilize those with the bridging. And I think some other teams are also actively engaging in this. So yeah, this is really cool opportunity, and we're really looking forward to EVM calling from XCM to make it even more awesome. Yeah.
Nice. Francisco, thank you very much for joining the call. It was a real pleasure to have you with us.
Yeah, no, for sure. Always a pleasure to join. Thanks again for the invitation. And yeah, agree with Peter. It's super exciting, this XCM to EVM. It's already on Moonbase Alpha. Hopefully we'll be able to ship that soon.
We're waiting it in production. We've tested it in Moonbase Alpha already.
Got it. Yeah, no, super cool. No, I think that's awesome, right? That's just a clear example of how Polkadot is different. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what products are built using that technology. But yeah, Thanks again for having me. It's great, and congratulations on the progress and all the traction that you're getting, and looking forward to more collaborations together.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Francisco. Have a good one. Okay, so let's guys move forward. We're pretty much short on time, but anyways, so the next topic for us is our collaboration with Multichain. Again, we consider Multichain as probably one of the most robust solutions in terms of bridging assets from various ecosystems, including Ethereum, Polygon, and many other chains that you guys have connected with. Like having said, we have actually integrated that bridge, like Multichain, through Moonbeam. We already touched on that a little bit. Peter, do you want to add something on the technical side just real quick, and then we invite folks from Multichain on the screen and touch on our amazing partnership?
Yeah, definitely. Well, pretty much the flow is pretty straightforward, and hopefully you can see it clearly on the slide. So we are communicating with Multichain bridge, which is an EVM to EVM bridge, and then we're leveraging this cross-chain smart contract technology of Moonbeams, where we have actually built our own ERC to XC wrapper contract. So those tokens which come into Moonbeam via the bridge, they're converted to XC assets, and XC asset is a universal asset across the entire Polkadot ecosystem, which can be transferred across different parachains. And this is how we're actually going to deploy WBTC, WETH, and USDC tokens from Ethereum. And hopefully we will expand that asset base really soon. And we also touched briefly the other part around where when users want to withdraw, so in order for them to be able to do that all in one action, we are really waiting for that EVM calling functionality to get rolled out by Moonbeam to their production, because we've played with it on the testnet already, and pretty much the bridging looks from the user perspective. It's a one-click action, and bridging in is one-click action, bridging out is one-click action. But right now, since there is no this functionality in production, you'll have to make 2 clicks when you actually want to withdraw assets. But I think that's bearable, at least for some time. Yeah.
Exactly. Again, but you can deal with any liquidity issues pretty easy. Obviously, like withdrawing will be a little bit more tricky, but eventually you definitely can make it. However, withdrawing, I guess, is the good quality problem, right? Because like most likely it will be either withdrawing your funds or your kind of profits from operations on Equilibrium. So it hopefully will not require any kind of immediate actions at the end of the day. So I'm trying to find out where the guy from Multichain here. We were expected to be joined by the integration developer from their site. Just a sec. Just a sec. Okay, yeah, here it is. BSCETHBOT.
Awesome. I want to have a bot like that.
Okay. Hey man, how are you?
Hey, yeah, how you guys doing?
We are doing pretty well, yeah. How are you?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us today. It's a pleasure, first of all, to work with you guys because you're super responsive in terms of any kind of technical issues. I've been following your conversations in the dev chats. It was really awesome to see how you support projects connecting with you.
Yeah, it's an honor partnering with you guys. It's really something innovative and creative for you guys to do, to connect multiple chains at once using our technology. So I'm excited to talk to you guys today as the integration developer of Multichain. You guys can refer me as Jason in this call.
Sounds good. Okay, Jason, we'll be referring like that. Jason, what's your current experience with the Dotsama ecosystem? Like, how's it going?
Yeah, so actually, you guys taught me a lot about the Dot ecosystem. Before, all I interacted with was Moonbeam because it's EVM compatible. But seeing how you guys interact with your X20 wrapper and then bridging it to the Polkadot ecosystem that way is quite cool.
Right. So I guess we are kind of the first ones, right, doing this way.
Yeah, definitely. And
sorry, Jason, you're cutting off.
yeah, so I remember like we began this conversation a long time ago, and then we actually implemented it in testnet recently. I was seeing you guys doing it step by step. It's quite exciting.
Yeah, there's been also a long conversation, long journey, and eventually we made it. Yeah, so how's like, are you aware of like numbers, volume of liquidity you currently drive on the to the Dotsama ecosystem? Like, do you have some understanding like what's going on there? And like which assets probably the most popular among users?
Yeah, so definitely it's the stable coins, and then right after that it's probably ETH and BTC.
Okay. Like in terms of BTC, I guess you mean WBTC implementation, is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so that's exactly what we are planning to do. So we'll be integrating USDC for you. We'll be bridging Ethereum through Multichain, and we'll be bridging WBTC at the end of the day. So that's kind of three assets that we'll be focusing on at the very beginning, but then we up to considering some other integrations as well. For us, it's really important to have like decent liquidity depth for all the assets that we're integrating. And this is the kind of the main goal for us to make sure that everything, like all the assets that we're integrating, we have enough liquidity on in all the pools, like all across the ecosystem of Equilibrium, including insurance pools, lending pool, market making, order book and stuff, so that people and users can have like really smooth and comfortable user experience.
The best part, actually, Alex, is that Multichain already supports like 50 plus networks, and
Yeah.
integration-wise, we are ready. So the matter of adding new assets is a matter of staking GLMR tokens on Moonbeam.
Correct, yeah. Anyways, besides that, I guess worth mentioning that we also are looking into bridging our ecosystem assets into other ecosystems as well. So it works vice versa, right? So it's not just bridging to Equilibrium, but also bridging out of Equilibrium. And we are planning to add our EQ token and EQD stablecoin on Multichain, so it will be eventually available across all the ecosystems that guys are connecting.
Yeah, absolutely. We are just as a project, we're trying to make all the blockchains connected and then make onboarding as easy as possible for every project and every chain.
Amazing. Cool. This is really exciting to work with you guys in terms of that. This is like, again, for us, it's like really early days, just the very beginning of our successful journey in the production, which will start in the beginning of December. And since we are asking like almost all the guests for tips and advice in terms of our launch, do you have something for us? What would you suggest us how we make it successful?
Yeah, so from our project's advice, obviously you guys are using our router v7 to achieve the bridging aspects. My advice would be in the future, if there's staking and governance features, you guys might consider like a non-value transaction, more of an information transaction for your other use cases as well across multiple chains. So I guess you guys can look into that aspect as well. It's quite a creative way as well.
Yeah, thanks for the tip. It's actually something that we have in mind. And I remember when we were just starting developments of the protocol in 2020, our ultimate goal was to eliminate barriers for entrance from other ecosystems so that users can interact with our native blockchains, signing, literally messages that will help them to manage functionality of Equilibrium without the need to interact with Equilibrium directly through, like, let's say, Polkadot compatible wallets and stuff. So that's definitely something that was on our radar, and we're still kind of considering implementing all these features. Cool. Jason, thank you very much for joining us today. Unfortunately, we're kind of short on time, so we also need to go through some other aspects that we wanted to cover today in the course of the presentation, but it was really a pleasure to have you with us on our Jubilee 24th community call.
That's awesome. Congratulations for the launch. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason.
Okay, so let's move on. So that was integration with Multichain. With regards to our parachain slots, was it?
Yeah, I can take on that, Alex. So pretty much,
Yeah, thanks.
we covered that briefly on the previous community call. We won another slot for Genshiro. We're really excited about it. Currently, we are a bit lagging in terms of switching from the old parachain to the new parachain. Our proposal has passed. It's on referenda. It's passing right now. But there happened a sudden runtime upgrade in Kusama, so it gets a little bit postponed. We've been in talks with Parity today, but everything is okay. And once we renew our slot, we will finish the delivery of all of our promises for Genshiro. And that means we'll be migrating fully to parachain. We'll be opening up the governance there. And related to some of the questions I've already seen in the Q&A session here, definitely we still have to distribute the rewards for the second crowd loan. And yeah, since we promised to distribute the downside protection for the participants for the first crowd loan, we'll be distributing that as well. Timing wise, I would say it's another 2 to 3 weeks. Really doesn't depend on us here. We're just monitoring the progress of the decentralized decision making here. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, just few updates from our side on the event side. I've been extensively traveling in the past month. I was attending Web Summit in Lisbon, which was taking place in November. The 1st and till the 4th was really interesting event. The huge one, I guess it's one of the biggest kind of IT events in the world. It's actually works for good because like the coverage of the scope of a project starts from cloud computing, whatever hardware things to actually blockchain, fintech, and all this kind of stuff. But probably the bad thing that you can easily stray in this kind of events because literally like tens of thousands of people there. So it was quite interesting to see what's going on in other industries. We had there was a Polkadot booth as well, and we had I was spending on this booth quite some time, actually talking to the guys who were approaching and asking what's going on in the Polkadot ecosystem. We met a few investors there who we are kind of in touch with and still kind of in conversations of how exactly we can work on Equilibrium. So another event was Token 2049, which was in London between 7th and the 8th of November. It was also pretty well attended event. Quite a lot of folks. Quite a lot of interesting side events. I was participating in the event by Galaxy Digital. Also, our friends from Portofino, which is one of big market makers, invited us there, and it was really interesting to meet all these folks there as well. So we have participated in a few AMA sessions. There was a few team members who actually was participating in events on the LATAM side. It was Roberta, our community moderator in LATAM community, also Robert Lugo, ambassador of Spanish community. They both participated in some kind of events in that region. Natalie joined the Follow and Friends DeFi panel. which was on November the 17th on Twitter Spaces. And I'm joining the Polkadot community call, which will happen literally in an hour from now. So if you're interested, please join. I will be also covering our production launch there, highlighting some aspects on the tech side and like how exactly we're gonna be live. So yeah, if you wish, it will be I guess 5 p.m. Sorry, sorry, it was 5 p.m. CET time. Please join through Polkadot Twitter. It will be Twitter Spaces. I'll be there. So we also got some coverage on the media. There was Altcoin Buzz, which is one of established podcasts and news outlets in the space, which was founded in 2017. Currently, its YouTube channel has impressive 380,000 subscribers aboard, and they have rolled out pretty interesting coverage, which was going in really tiny details of how our protocol works. Was a really nice overview of Equilibrium, of all the scope of functionality, starting from our DEX, money markets, and stablecoin. Also, like staking opportunities were highlighted there as well. So you can actually scan the QR codes on the right and follow the link, and you will see this video on YouTube. Peter, let me give it out to you, and you will walk us through our development updates. Please do that real quick.
Sure.
Okay.
Most exciting part, staked dot is finished. It's our own version of dot wrappers for dots being staked for validators, so we don't lose any opportunity costs here related to APR. Also, as usual, lots of front-end and UI work. You've seen part of it in beta. Hopefully, you'll see a much greater part of it in our live. We have finalized the assets, and Alex was talking about that with Multichain and Moonbeam. Yeah. First of all, of course, the top ones, Bitcoin, Ethereum, stablecoins are coming to Equilibrium, thanks to the Multichain bridge and thanks to the cross-chain smart contracts from Moonbeam. Really excited about that. Some technical stuff and related to UI improvements where we separated trading and borrowing because users had problems understanding how it's all combined together. So we decided to make life simpler for our users. That's one of the ultimate goals eventually, because we are building this for you guys. Also, cool part about our zero knowledge proofs concept. The concept is ready, and we've been working on our bailsman optimization in regards to this, and our devs responsible for this part actually had an internal presentation for us where they showed how everything works, and we're really excited because it will help us leverage our layer 2 DEX and make it really fast and user-friendly. Even more user-friendly than it is now. For Genshiro, I already mentioned we have our referenda and all of the plans stay intact. So stay tuned, follow our social media, and everything will happen there eventually. And some minor updates to market maker pools. So market makers don't pay transaction fees, and this is probably, well, at least at the beginning, the most crucial part of our liquidity bootstrap program, because market makers need to have enough funds so they keep a liquid order book for you guys to trade against. Yeah, follow on. We will announce some bootstrap programs. We'll announce some initial liquidity. Hopefully, funds who were with us today, they will help with that liquidity when we go live, and we will kickstart this great product of ours, and you will see how the real DeFi should work. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much, Peter, for this update. So apologies actually for some, issues with timelines today. We had really nice conversations. We actually could not refuse us from pleasure having all these gentlemen on board. And yeah, so let me actually, we need to take some questions, I guess, because like we should have pretty much a lot of them in the questionnaire section. So let's go through them like real quick. Hello there, team. I have two questions. When will whitelist results be out for the second pre-sale? Can you make a true roadmap with the exact dates you'll be stick to, like not the approximate or tentative? Well, this is real good questions, and actually, like, let me address the first one, and then we try to elaborate on the second. So, the whitelist results is like almost out. We have sent over emails to everyone who joined the whitelist until yesterday. I guess, and really pretty much everyone who should got email with I guess link to the KYC interface literally tonight. So and yeah, we are kind of we'll send you over emails, and you'll be the first to know that you are kind of good to know. So this everything will happen this week. No worries. In terms of our roadmap, so here's the thing. Like we definitely kind of stick to most of the dates that we have put out in terms of our developments. But the problem is that once, since Polkadot itself is not yet sustained kind of system, they quite often roll out some updates for the substrate framework specifically. And following these updates, we need also to update things on our sites and do quite a lot of migrations. That definitely, this kind of technical works affects our roadmap. So we cannot, like, if Polkadot rolls out the update and we need to update our chain, then most likely we will take this in high priority over other developments that were supposed to be done in terms of our roadmap. So given that, we can give some tentative commitments to like specific dates, but what you guys can be sure of is that we kind of launching the everything like what we have developed so far, specifically money market, the spot market functionality with margin trading, and like everything related to stablecoin. All this functionality will be launched in the first half of December. This kind of developments will account for all the comments and feedback that we have got in the course of the closed beta launch. And you guys will be you guys really like the thing that we will be rolling out. That's by far. So Peter, do you want to add something from the dev side from your end?
Yeah, definitely. You were absolutely correct in terms of that we, well, it's not pretty much copy and paste like in EVM-based chains where you have lots of stuff developed for you, their best practices and everything. We have to break through as we are, among other teams, the first ones to actually do something here meaningful in Polkadot and Rust-based system. And some fun fact for you, every time we try to plan and come up with hard set dates, the general rule of thumb is multiply by 2 and add 2 weeks, and that's going to be your release date. So yeah, if you want to know the exact release date, please follow this general rule of thumb.
Right. Okay, so the next question was about our mobile version, maybe Nova wallet integration. So yes, we are planning for kind of mobile version, so it will not be an application at the beginning, but it definitely will be like some mobile interface that you can use through in-browse, in-app browsers and other wallets, like let's say Nova. When the Qiu will be listed after the full launch, that is something that we're currently revisiting because here's the thing, like given the FTX issue, some of exchanges might lose their solvency, I would say, right? So they might become insolvent for some reasons, and our market makers with whom we have like relations and plans to go to move forwards with our listings, they're currently doing due diligence on the exchanges. We have kind of commitments or whatever kind of agreements to move forward in terms of listings. These actually pretty strong exchanges from tier one list, but still like the situation on their side is a little bit unclear. So given that, we'll keep you guys posted. We want to make sure that first of all the exchange you get listed is pretty safe, because it will affect not just you guys, but also like market makers will go there to make markets, and this is really important thing for us. The safety of the community and the market makers who actually have skin in the game to put money into the market making. So we will keep you posted, but we actually are we are standing for the quick listing and do that ASAP, because like for us it's like really important to move forward with the further ecosystem development. So now the question, why PLO1 pay more than Republic 1 and Republic 2 offering, and clarify about that. So why the price now is less than in the parachain leads offering. PLO1 participant lost money because of the for Q, and the current sales so low, are they like 70% of their investments? So good questions. With these regards, let me elaborate. First of all, the kind of price of EQ that you got during PLO1 was nominated in dots, right? And if you guys remember, it was 0.07 dots per 1 EQ, and after redenomination, which happened back then, and we kind of increase the supply, multiply the supply of EQ tokens by 100. This was ended up with the conversion rate of 0.00007 dots per 1 EQ. So right now in the current offering, which we are conducting, like the second phase, the conversion rate between dots and EQ is respectively 0.015, which is twice higher than what guys get through PLO1. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, like literally what's the complaint here. So literally it's the higher kind of valuation, twice time higher at least. And secondly, like if you refer to your previous experience that you were kind of buying dots, let's say, from the open market for participation in PLO1, that's actually not something that we're taking responsibility of, right? And we kind of, it was the decision of our users. We really kind of first of all, we respect your participation and respect your support, and we are super thankful to our community. But again, we are not responsible for any kind of investment decisions that community does, right? So we are not in this position, unfortunately. Dear team members, will the Russian language appear on the platform? To be frank, it's not something that we were planning, like at least in the closest perspective. But we will actually think of that. Thank you very much for bringing this up. Just saw this question on Discord. Will be able to use EQ on EQ DAX when launched, Borderland, etc. Can we use it to mint EQD? If we can't use it, will people act on DAX without EQ when you launch it? So first of all, there will be an opportunity to convert your assets that you bridge into the Equilibrium's platform into EQ to cover your transaction costs. Right, so there will be like special feature in the platform. So let's say if you are running out of EQ and you cannot pay your kind of transaction fees. You can literally at one click get EQ by converting a small fraction of your assets in EQ through our treasury. So in terms of like how exactly will EQ setup look like after our launch, we will update you guys closer to the launch itself. So please stay tuned. What's about the KSM downside protection for the first crowd loan? Right, this is a great question. So we will calculate like what exactly we owe to our users, and we will update the community expectedly next week.
Yeah, just like I said, Alex, before, well, we don't really want to go ahead and move with it until we get our renewed slot. So it will take some time. But we definitely remember about that, and no worries. Everything which is promised will be delivered.
Exactly, will be sorted out. So what about USDT? I want to withdraw my Ethereum, but seems like I've forgotten about this project. Please reach out to me on Telegram. So if you're in Telegram community for USDT support, so you can find my Telegram tag there. Please drop me a message and we'll sort it out.
Actually, about the USDT, we were talking about it internally today, and the best part about it, that we made it so that it can live on its own. Well, we are not responsible for liquidity, since apparently some teams, they got a lot of USDTs and they don't wish to sell it on the exchange for some reason, I don't know. But the best part, which really stands out here, is that our project pretty much lives an autonomous life in EOS, and EOS is dead already, but the project still lives there, and this is awesome.
Right, immutable USDT. Right, so we're still supporting this on our side, so we're running the ecosystem, the infrastructure, sorry. Do you have a mobile version of the Equilibrium app planned for 2023? Language will support. So yeah, we are planning kind of mobile version in 2023, not yet the application, but expectedly at some point the application will also arrive. We'll be recording of this session. Yes, there will be recording. You can basically have this recording at this link as well. Is it possible to launch tokens of other projects on the Equilibrium platform in the future? Yes, there will be this opportunity, and there will be also some kind of launch pads that we're preparing. The first, again, token will launch, so our launch pad will be our native EQ token. Respectively, next week we'll start off the second phase of our kind of EQ offering. And if you guys are interested in participation, the whitelist of this offering is still live. It will be live until the end of the week. It gives you the opportunity to get 20% bonus on your allocation, and the offering itself will kick off on Monday. Will Genshiro UI be updated to look and operate like EQ UI? The EQ UI is sleeker and cleaner. I intend to use both. Thanks. Jonathan, thank you very much for this question. So we are planning for supporting Genshiro in a way, and there will be some important updates in the beginning of the next year. We like right now we're working on like the right scenario, how we can, you know, work on that and basically deliver like the best experience to users, and eventually have like the best ever products built on both chains. So like please stay tuned. Right now we are focusing on rolling out Equilibrium and Equilibrium's UI to make it like really clean and even cleaner than it was in closed beta. But with regards to Genshiro, we also have certain plans. Unfortunately, I'm not in a position to reveal them, all of them right now, because they're still kind of in internal discussions. And once we get them finalized, I definitely will definitely like put out some announcements on that. It will be in the beginning of the next week. Thank you very much. From the chat, hey Alex, who's planning to fund loaners from 1 year back? Thanks. So guys, if you refer to the crowd loan of Genshiro, then you should got your KSM back on the wallets you participated from. Like, I guess that's about that, right? Other question on the second offering. Could you tell us the token vesting schedule for those participants in the upcoming second EQ offering? Great question. So it will be linear vesting in the course of 6 months. Okay, so look, seems like we addressed almost all the questions we had here. Guys, apologies first of all for the timing. We had quite a bunch of really nice guests with us. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this thoughtful and interesting conversations. I guess we covered pretty much everything today, including our updates. We have updated you on our plans on the production launch, which is gonna be which is happening in the first half of December, and we are preparing for that right now. And also we have given you the details on our upcoming phase 2 EQ offering. So again, if you're considering participation in that, you can go to our website. There will be a link to our whitelist, and if you're interested, you can still join the whitelist. It will be open until the end of the week, and then the offering itself will kick off. I also actually noticed some messages. I guess it was the user with the name Ernest Rossi. He suggested some airdrop activities. So we actually are taking a little bit different approach. So if you guys are interested, you can join our ambassador program. We have our ambassador program up and running. It's working in the form of DAO. And if you guys are eligible to join the ambassador program, instead of just just simple giving out tokens, you can earn them through participation, active participation in various activities. So yeah, without further ado, let us wrap up. Again, thank you very much for participation in this amazing call. It was really very, very well attended. We had almost 200 participants, and it was the Jubilee community call, the 24th one. We have been doing that for 2 years, and yeah, this is the right moment to support us because we are going live eventually. It will happen really, really soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
See you in a month. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.